The West Memphis Three are perhaps one of the most controversial and haunting cases in the annals of American criminal justice. This case centers around the brutal murders of three 8-year-old boys in West Memphis, Arkansas in 1993, and the subsequent trials that captured national attention. The story encompasses themes of justice, wrongful conviction, and the impact of media sensationalism, ultimately leading to a significant examination of the American legal system. On May 5, 1993, three young boys, Stevie Branch, Michael Moore, and Christopher Byers, went missing after leaving their homes to play in a nearby wooded area. The following day, their bodies were discovered in a drainage ditch, leading to an immediate outcry from the community and a frantic investigation by local law enforcement. The initial investigation was fraught with issues, as detectives were under immense pressure to solve the case quickly. This urgency led to a focus on a trio of teenagers who had a reputation for being different and were perceived as outcasts within their community. The three teenagers, Damien Echols, Jason Baldwin, and Jessie Misskelley, were arrested and charged with the murders. Echols, in particular, attracted attention due to his goth subculture lifestyle, which included wearing dark clothing and expressing an interest in heavy metal music. The community's fear and misunderstanding of youth subcultures in the early 90s contributed to the narrative that these boys were capable of such heinous acts. The media also played a significant role in shaping public perception, often portraying the accused in a negative light and fueling the idea that they were involved in a satanic ritual. Jessie Misskelley, who had an intellectual disability and was known to have a low IQ, became the most crucial witness against the others. After hours of police interrogation, without an attorney present, Misskelley confessed to the murders, providing a detailed account that ultimately contradicted the physical evidence found at the crime scene. Despite the inconsistencies in his confession and the lack of credible evidence linking the three teens to the murders, the prosecution moved forward with the case. During the trials, the prosecution relied heavily on Misskelley's confession, which was riddled with inaccuracies. The defense team faced significant challenges, including limited resources and a community biased against their clients. The courtroom was filled with speculation, prejudice, and sensationalized accounts of the supposed satanic motives behind the murders. The trial's atmosphere was a perfect storm for a miscarriage of justice, and the jury was swayed by the prosecution's narrative rather than the actual evidence presented. In 1994, Echols was sentenced to death, while Baldwin received a life sentence, and Misskelley was sentenced to 40 years. The convictions drew immediate backlash from activists, celebrities, and advocates for the wrongfully convicted. Support for the West Memphis Three began to grow, leading to numerous appeals and efforts to re-examine the evidence. Many people believed that the real killers were still at large, and that the three convicted were innocent scapegoats, wrongfully imprisoned based on societal prejudices and an inadequate legal system. As years passed, various pieces of evidence began to emerge that questioned the integrity of the convictions. For one, DNA testing was conducted on evidence found at the crime scene, including hair samples and ligatures. The DNA did not match any of the three accused, further complicating the case against them. Moreover, the media coverage that had previously fueled the narrative against the teens began to shift, as public opinion started to turn in their favor. Celebrities like Johnny Depp, Eddie Vedder, and the members of the band Metallica took an interest in the case, raising awareness and bringing it to a broader audience. Documentaries such as Paradise Lost, The Child Murders at Robin Hood Hills, and its sequels highlighted the flaws in the legal proceedings and the innocence of the accused, urging the public to reconsider the case. In 2007, after nearly 2 decades of advocacy and mounting evidence pointing toward their innocence, the West Memphis Three were finally given an opportunity to plead guilty to lesser charges as part of an Alford plea. This plea allowed them to maintain their innocence while acknowledging that the prosecution had enough evidence to convict them. As a result, Echols, Baldwin, and Misskelley were released from prison after serving 18 years. Their release was met with a mixture of relief and frustration, as many felt that true justice had not been served. The real killers remained free. The West Memphis Three case serves as a cautionary tale about the potential for miscarriages of justice in a flawed legal system. It underscores the dangers of relying on coerced confessions, especially from vulnerable individuals, and highlights the importance of thorough investigations that are free from bias and prejudice. The case also raised questions about the role of the media in shaping public opinion and the potential for sensationalism to influence legal proceedings. In the years following their release, the West Memphis Three have continued to advocate for criminal justice reform and raise awareness about wrongful convictions. Their story is a reminder of the importance of vigilance in the pursuit of justice and the need for systemic changes to ensure that the innocent are protected within the legal system. The case has also prompted discussions about the treatment of those who do not fit into societal norms, especially young people who express themselves differently. The West Memphis Three were not just victims of a flawed legal system. They were also scapegoats for a community grappling with its fears and misunderstandings of youth culture in the early 90s. As the West Memphis Three continue to navigate their post-incarceration lives, their case remains a poignant example of the complexities surrounding crime, punishment, and the quest for truth in the American legal system. Their story is a testament to the resilience of the human spirit and the ongoing fight for justice, making it clear that while they may have been exonerated, the shadows of their past will linger in the collective memory of those who followed their harrowing journey. In a society striving for justice, the lessons learned from the West Memphis Three case remind us that every person deserves a fair trial, a presumption of innocence, and the protection of their rights. The story of Damien Echols, Baldwin, and Jessie Misskelley serves as a call to action for all of us to remain vigilant against injustice and advocate for a system that upholds the truth, regardless of societal biases or fears. As they continue to speak out and share their experiences, the hope remains that their case will inspire further examination and reform within the criminal justice system, preventing similar tragedies from occurring in the future. Thank you for listening to another episode of Loopholery, your go-to podcast channel for quick, witty, and insightful takes on random topics, all in 8 minutes or less. Whether we're diving into quirky facts, exploring weird loopholes, or just pondering life's strange questions, we keep it short, fun, and engaging. Perfect for curious minds on the go. Like or subscribe, and get your fix of unpredictable knowledge bites.